Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Today I am out on the Tiger Sport 660 and my mission for the day is to investigate a windshield replacement for this bike. Now, as much as I like the looks of the stock windshield, it has been giving me some issues lately. And just to be clear, it's not uncomfortable to use this windshield at all while I'm riding, but in my particular use case with trying to do motovlogs, the issue that I'm having is that I'm getting a lot of air coming up from under here by the tank area, maybe a little bit on the sides here, and it's producing a lot of wind noise underneath my chin. It's coming up into the helmet, so when I'm trying to record motovlog audio, it's been really noisy, and I've actually lost a couple videos that I was working on just because I could not get the wind noise down enough that it was acceptable to me personally, so I just scrapped the entire video project. I just don't want to put out video quality that I'm not happy with. So I've done some research online, and a lot of you guys have mentioned in the comments that you know, specific brands to kind of look for. A lot of you guys were recommending California Scientific or Calsci. I did order in one of the Calsci windshields that's designed specifically for the Tiger Sport 660. So I'm going to install that today and see if that solves any of my problems. It's a little bit taller and a little bit wider. So just to give you a look at the stock windshield, this is the one that came with the bike, and you know, one thing I do like about this windshield is just kind of the shape and the look of it. You know, it's got this nice kind of channel here for the wind to pass through, and then you know, all the screws are kind of like countersunk down here. Now this does accumulate a lot of dirt and bugs and stuff like that, so that's one downside, but I think it looks nice. You know, just like these little accents here, these little lines in it, just gives it a nice streamlined look. And then it's got the hopefully you can see that it's got like a little lip on the end that pops out a little bit, and it actually works great. You know, if I wasn't doing motovlogs on here, I honestly would not concern myself with replacing the windshield or even adding a visor on. So the reason I took off that visor that I had on there that was helping a little bit was I just wanted to show you guys the sound profile with the stock windshield with no modifications to it, so we can kind of do a before and after. Alright, we are in the garage, and the first step is to take the old windshield off here. So it looks like all three of these bolts are 5mm, so I'm going to go ahead and get started taking these off. Hopefully you can see here the size difference between the two windshields. The windshield is wrapped in plastic, which I'm going to leave on there until after testing in case I need to send it back. And here are the parts that are provided with the kit. I don't think we're going to be using all of these based on the directions. According to the directions, this is how you set up the screws. You put one of these translucent white snap caps on each of the supplied screws with a stainless steel washer. Next, we want to place one of these aluminum spacers in each of the windshield grommets. Now the windshield has a grommet for each of the screw holes, so you're just going to put one of the aluminum spacers in each one of those. And then when we put the screws on, this is going to go first on the bottom screw mount, and then these two longer screws go on the top. Alright, just ran into my first problem. I went to do a test fit, and this bottom screw is too fat. It won't fit through the grommet spacer. It's supposed to be 5mm by 25mm.
Looks like the length is correct, but it's too wide. So here's the one that comes with the bike. And that one fits through just fine. So in order to move along with the install, I'm just going to use the stock bolt that came with it and see if that works. It's not going to have the finishing caps on it, but that's okay. The other important thing that I found out during the test fit is that these are 3/4 inch. These are the 1/2 inch ones. So these are the ones that I'll be using today. These are probably for a different install, and they just included it in the kit. These plastic spacers are going to go between the screw and the rear bracket on the back side of the windshield. The angled side facing the windshield, and then I kind of twisted them so that it sort of lines up with the angle of the windshield. These screws that they supplied me for the top ones appear to be too long, which is a problem because the windshield is going to wiggle back and forth even when these are tightened down all the way. Because remember, those screws are getting screwed into this portion right here of this bracket, and there's only so many threads in there that these screws can go into.
These are the screws I needed to mount the windshield. So I had size 10 by 32. I had 1-inch ones. That was for the bottom here, and then I bought the 1.5 inch length for the top 2 screws. The ones they provided me were 2 inches long. The screw that they gave me for the bottom was 1 inch in length, but it was just way too wide. It would not fit through the hole, so I had to buy new ones. And here is a look at the windshield side by side, or on top of each other here. I guess I'll line up the screw holes. You'll get a better view. You can see how much taller and wider the new windshield is. The first thing I'm going to do is jump on the freeway and see how this thing does with kind of like the major wind noise, and then go from there off onto the surface streets. Unfortunately, this feels like it's probably worse than the stock windshield, at least for me. I am 6 feet tall, so that could have a lot to do with it. But I mean, I don't think I'm really getting any helmet buffeting. It doesn't feel like it, but I do feel more turbulent air like on my shoulders, and more air coming up from underneath like the tank area. So I don't think this is going to work out for me, which is why I left the plastic on the screen, which was recommended by the manufacturer. They said, you know, take it for a test ride, but leave the plastic on in case you need to send it back. Yeah, it's just uncomfortable. I was going to take it for like a longer freeway ride, but this just isn't cutting it for me. Again, it's not really a windy day today. It's about the same as yesterday, so I don't think that has anything to do with it. So does it block more wind? Yes, it does, but just not where I was hoping it would. So it is a couple inches higher than the stock windshield, so it does provide a little bit more wind protection up top, but I still feel like I'm getting excessive wind noise underneath. I mean, I guess I'll have to check back on the audio and see if it made any kind of difference at all with what I was hoping to get. You know, cut out some of the actual wind noise from the helmet so that my audio was a little bit better. Some other things that I've noticed about this new windshield is that it shakes quite a bit worse than the other one. Even when I had the stock windshield with that little visor attachment on there, a lot of that has to do with the mounting mechanism. This piece here, you know, the whole dashboard and everything kind of like shakes back and forth. Yeah, this whole thing doesn't seem very stable at all. Just barely touching this part here, this little handle part, makes the windshield like tip forward a little bit, and sometimes it'll just start sliding down on its own. In a couple of the lower positions, I've noticed that the mirrors will actually hit the edge of the windshield. I know that that can be adjusted. I mean, I can pull these mirrors in just a little bit, and it barely touches. I mean, it's like maybe a ½ an inch or something like that of adjustment, and they would be clear. But it's just still something to be concerned about, because the last thing you want is to go to make a turn and then your handlebars get stuck on something. So alright, I'm going to try like a lower position a little bit. See, this whole thing seems very flimsy now. It kind of like moves back and forth like this, where on the stock windshield you would not get backward motion on here like that. It's just oh yeah, that's horrible. I don't know if you're picking up on that on the audio, but that's super loud. It's almost like I put a windshield on here purposely to direct it right at my face. Yeah, I am not liking it in that position. But see, yeah, you see how it hits the windshield? Just barely, but it's there. I'm really looking forward to checking out the audio and video from this recording. I want to see if the wind noise on the recording is as bad as what I'm actually hearing through my ears. So lately, I've been trying out different audio recorders, trying to fight this wind noise, and before I went and picked up the windshield to try that out, that was my kind of like my last resort. I did try like a Tascam audio recorder that's, you know, tethered to a microphone that I had up in the helmet, and then you know, I put the recorder in my pocket. That was actually the best solution, because what I did was cut down the input gain quite a bit so that the recorded audio was a little bit lower, but then it wasn't as sensitive, so it was still picking up my voice, but it wasn't picking up a lot of the extra audio around. So, but then again, you would lose a little bit of the bike sounds, but then it would cut down on the wind noise, so that might end up being my permanent solution. Trying different things out to get some better audio on these recordings for you guys. So guys, what do you think of the Calsci windshield? Now, I didn't put the little vanity caps on here because you know, I was still testing this out, but they do provide little black plastic caps to put over there to kind of clean up the looks a little bit. But I did make sure to punch the hole through here so that I got the proper airflow. I mean, it doesn't look bad,
I just think that this feels a little flimsy now. With the stock windshield on here, this part didn't move back and forth like this. When you would push it, it would just go, you know, straight up and down, and it felt a lot more secure. You wouldn't get that extra wiggle on here after you try to get it to a setting, and it kind of moves around a little bit here.
Final thoughts on this windshield. Not for me. I'll be sending this one back. Might work for somebody else, but just not what I was looking for right now. So if anybody has this bike and found a good windshield for it, please let me know, and maybe I'll check it out. With that being said, I will be putting the stock windshield back on here until further notice. But it was worth testing this one out, so, you know, I had to give it a shot. Hopefully some of you guys found this video somehow useful. If anything, just to give you the proper screw sizes for mounting this windshield on here. So if that's all you get out of it, then I've done my job. I should probably also say that I don't have any kind of affiliation with Calsci, and I bought this with my own money. Yeah, I just hit a pothole and the windshield just went down a notch, so I don't know, guys. I don't want to badmouth Calsci. I'm sure that their windshields work great on a number of bikes, but this particular install it did not go well. So if I did something wrong, please let me know. I even double checked the directions when the screws didn't fit and confirmed that the sizes listed on the instruction sheet that was provided, and the one on their website as well, listed screw sizes that were not included in my kit. Well, I will leave you with that as I finish my very noisy return trip home. So if you like the video, click that like button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.